There is a box in the corner of my sewing room. It is a box whose contents have not seen the light of day for many a month. Many crafters will be familiar with this box, in all of its forms. There's the ever-growing amorphous lump that lies underneath your desk, the monster underneath your bed, the stuff you vacuum packed in a fit of organisation and stuffed into your garage in the hopes that you'd never have to deal with it again. This, my friends, is the unfinished sewing pile. Today's fix will be this pretty pleated lilac skirt. Now, this is an item that fit me perfectly a couple of years ago, back when I was an Australian size 10, but today, not so much. Nonetheless, I had been holding onto the skirt in the hopes that it would fit me again one day, but then I realized that that's silly. I have sewing skills, so I'm just gonna make it fit me for the body that I have now. I figured that this fix would be pretty easy because, as you can see, there's all this extra space on this button placket. So my plan was basically to move all the buttons over to here. So I carefully snipped off the buttons by flipping the skirt over to the underside and then cutting through the threads with a small pair of scissors. When each button was removed, I moved it directly over to the edge of the button placket, keeping it in line with the spot that it was removed from, and then I sewed it back on at the edge. Now, to sew on the buttons, the first thing that I needed to do was to thread a needle with a colour that matched the buttons. To do this, I pushed a strand of white thread through the eye of a needle, doubled the thread over, and then I tied a double knot in the ends and cut off the excess thread. Then, using my threaded needle, I went up through the back of the material in the new spot for the button, pulling the thread all the way through, and then I went back down again once, just to secure the thread in the material. Then I went back up through the front in the same spot, pulling the thread all the way through, and then I pushed my needle through one hole in the back of the button. Now I'm going to sew the button on through the bottom two holes like this, going up through one hole and then back down through the other. And I repeat this a couple of times to really secure the button on. Then I'm going to do the exact same thing for the top two holes. Once the button was sewn on securely, I pushed the needle through to the back of the skirt one more time, and then I tied it off with a couple of knots. Now I find that the easiest way to tie knots is to push my needle through a secured thread on the back, then pull the thread through most of the way until I have this small loop, and then I pass my needle through the middle of the loop and pull it tight to make a knot. I usually repeat this a couple of times to make sure that the thread isn't going to come loose, and then I cut off the excess thread. I repeated this for all 4 buttons and that's it. And look at how much better this fits me now. This is so exciting because this is honestly one of my favorite skirts and I'm so happy that I can continue to wear it. And remember, if your size changes, that's nothing to be ashamed of or sad about because whatever size you are, you can look cute and wear whatever you want. It just helps a lot if you're not trying to squeeze yourself into clothes that are too small for you. And I'm saying this because honestly, it's something that took me a while to realize. Anyway, I hope that you're having a wonderful day and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! Please go and check out my Patreon business supporters, Chip the Teacup, Sarsparilly, and Little Gun Tank. All 3 are amazing handmade designers and their support has helped to bring you this video. You can also check out my Patreon page to become a supporter yourself.